Hello there and welcome to Microsoft Ignite and welcome to our session.
Welcome. My name is Sakari Nahi. I'm the CEO of Azure, and Azure is a company that specializes in building, designing and advising on use of Azure. Here we have Jussi.
And my name is Jussi Oine. I am the CEO of North Advisors. And today we are thinking about getting back to the office and what the leaders and companies are thinking about the future of work.
That sounds nifty. Do you like getting back to office?
Well, technically we don't have an office yet. We were sort of contemplating on renting a new office, but it seems a lot of our professionals think that they've been at the home for 18 months now. Do they even know how to get to the office anymore? How about for you?
I'm anxiously waiting getting back to office, but it is also causing some social anxiety being around people so much. So it's a hard pickle to swallow. Let's see what our guests today say. Today, we will first have a chat about the look forward. Jussi and I will spitball some things that are in our mind, and then we will get back to our great guests and ask them some questions about the future of work.
So the pandemic, let's look forward now. Let's not look back to the 18 months when we all completed everything on streaming services and movies and TV series. And perhaps we start with working from home, or as I often feel, living at the office with your family and all the household chores. How about for you? I know you've been working from home now. Do you like it still?
I never liked it, or actually I started to like it in the middle of COVID. For me, it's been a bit of a sine curve. It was, I think, March 12th or something.
Yep.
Last year when our whole company went remote first and fully remote. And in the beginning, I worked in the bedroom, and that wasn't fun. Then we moved our family to a new house, and I got a room. Although it was my wife moved the room a few times, but at the end I found my own special niche in our family house, and I got a couple of screens and everything went swimmingly, and that was nice. But now again, after summer, being outside with the family and stuff and getting back to the home office, you know, the walls are just strangling me. It's been very hard this time after summer when you're expecting everything getting back to normal,
Yep.
But they kinda isn't. What about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, for me, I have my own dedicated home office at home. It used to be the master bedroom, but I figured the kids can sleep in a smaller room because I need the bigger room.
And your kids are small and adaptable.
Yeah, that as well, but I got them an Xbox, so everything is fine. And the home office I have now, I figured that after a year working from there about 8 hours a day, I need something to keep me sane. And for me, the solution has been gadgets. So
Nice.
but whenever you feel like, oh, the walls are crashing in, find a gadget you really, really need. It's a must have. It's not a need to have. And then you can go buy for an additional month or two.
Dear audience, this has turned into a regular self-help channel. For him, if he's down, he's buying a gadget. For me, it's chocolate. What is it for you? You can chat about that one.
So work is continuous though, and well, perhaps the upside has been that you can do laundry while you're attending your 10th or 11th meeting of the day. How about for you? Are you able to stop working when you feel that the day is full?
No, I think the issue, and I don't know if such a thing exists as being too efficient. I'm not talking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about other people. And I feel a lot of people are working too much. There's no breaks at home, right? You're like, oh, there's nothing else. You know, I stopped working already, but I guess I'll restart working, and I don't know what the time is and everything. And of course, it might be effective on some days, but I'm pretty sure that our current continuous mode of being able to work must be harmful. I feel like there's a lot of people who are, you know, just hanging there and, you know, I'll just continue working because I have nothing else right now.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
It's difficult. It's a challenge, definitely. I think I get by quite nicely. And one of the mantras that I set for myself about 18 months ago is that all the meetings that I'm attending from home remotely, I will always have my video on. Yeah. No exceptions.
Yeah.
And there's been meetings where we have 20 people plus me, and I'm the only one having the camera on, and you feel a bit weird, but then again you feel, well, I'm setting an example here. But since then I've sort of relented on this and figured that I will have the camera on when I'm presenting, but if it's a larger meeting and if it's the 11th meeting of the day, then it's perfectly acceptable to turn the camera off, do the laundry at the same time with your headset or whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's a good mode of business, and I would do the same if I had your face.
Thank you. On human connection, though, that's perhaps the thing that I hope for 2022 that we are getting more of. Well, we are here in person,
and this is splendid. I have to say,
splendid.
This is awesome.
I could spend the whole day here with you. But the human connection, there's been talks that innovation doesn't happen if you're stranded at home, you're doing remote meetings, and I'm not sure if it works when we get back to the office, or if we get back to the office by putting the team in the same meeting room and giving them 2 hours to innovate, come back with a great idea. How are you planning on achieving this?
I think the innovation key is big. I think scheduled meetings for innovation are hard, and when you have the innovative moment, the other people might not be there to brainstorm and spitball with you. That's probably true. For me, the human connection, the raison d'être to be at the office every now and then, I kind of link it to more to psychological safety than the innovation. Like this psychological safety thing that we've all heard of, that is something that Google and other big companies have made really famous with their studies of successful teams, of teams progressing well. And all that is about is really being able, as a human being, as a different kind of person, to be able to voice your disagreeable opinion to your teammate or a colleague. And to me, at least, that space is more reachable. It's easier for me to say those kind of disagreeable things if I feel like we are on the same page, and I feel I reach that page easier when I'm live on the same location. And that's the connection I miss. I feel like if you are remote all the time, there's like 10% of translation missing. I don't know how you feel about that.
I agree on that one, and we both work with customers as consultants and architects and developers. And previously, you would schedule a day or 2 or a week with a customer. You would travel on site, you would sit down with the team, with the customer, you would plan, you would really fuse together, then you would set the plan in motion, then you could head home and work for a couple of weeks from home.
Yeah.
And that I felt was an optimal model.
Yeah.
But now, trying to achieve this same sort of velocity in the work by having a quick 45-minute meeting to set the plan, and everybody's already thinking about the next meeting happening after your meeting, it's really, really challenging.
I'm very excited about the hybrid work that I think many companies, like most companies, are now able to execute the tasks remotely. So I'm very excited about the possibility of, hey, stay home if you want to, and come to office if you want to brainstorm, or have a chat, or maybe have a little bit of a more relaxing day. Have a coffee, have a chat, play some foosball, whatever.
Yeah, I have to share this one experience I had. It was the first time I was in a meeting with a bunch of people, and we were designing an architecture for Azure. Should we do this? Should we do that? And somebody in the team disagreed quite loudly, but vocally, even if not violently, about I fully disagree on this. And that person got so agitated that they muted themselves and turned off the camera.
Yeah.
But they remained in the meeting.
Well, that's good.
And then you're like, okay, so I know that person can hear me, but I'm not sure if I'm doing more damage by trying to argue, or should I give you more space? But in an in-person meeting, you can say, okay, let's do a coffee break.
Yeah, exactly.
But remotely, it's not the same.
Yeah, sorry if I came too strong. Let's have a chat. Yeah. What's the issue here? What are you bothered about?
Yeah, but I think that's something where we all can grow on. How do we conduct these, especially in a hybrid mode?
I agree, and I have to say that the future of the work anywhere bit, that is quite exciting.
I really love the idea, and previously I worked from anywhere, from trains and planes and automobiles, but that was often forced because I didn't have enough hours in a day. I had to work while I was traveling to a conference in the US or Europe. But now what I sort of love, I read this article a couple of weeks ago, and somebody mentioned the great reshuffle with the idea that people can really now reevaluate their commitment and investment to how they want to work. And one company, I can't recall the company name, they mentioned that their mode isn't that we force everybody to the office on Mondays or Fridays or whatnot, but it was more about work anywhere as long as you can work roughly on the same schedule and time zone as everybody else, but also that you can get to the office on 1 day's notice. I really like that idea.
I think that's a good summation. For me, the work everywhere has actually been about the little things. I'm preaching about because we are all anxious about getting back to office. Like, is our workplace gonna say you gotta be at the office this and that day and these are the dates and da. Are they gonna control our calendars again? To me, the feeling of control comes from being able to choose when I go to office. Nowadays, I don't have to come to office to 8:30 meeting or 9 meeting or something. I can take that from home, and then if I have a meeting free space from 10 to 11, I travel then. And it's traffic free and it's awesome and I feel like I'm in control. And for me, that little time slide has actually been the most rewarding thing to now.
But we've all been working in IT before it was called IT.
Yeah.
So I think it's ingrained to us that we have to be at the office by 9 the latest and we should stick around until 4:30 or so.
Yeah.
Are you still doing this?
No. I yesterday I left at 3 o'clock and shouted very loudly, I'm going. Hi, everybody. And I want everybody to do that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Ignite. Let's say a few words about technology. Yesterday we had the keynote. What's your main take? What's the thing you are most excited about regarding technology that's coming out this Ignite?
So yesterday we had about 90 updates and announcements all together. I went through them all. And perhaps what sort of stuck to me
is... You told me you fell asleep during the web PubSub.
No, I woke up after that.
Oh, nice.
And what perhaps caught my thinking the most when I was traveling here this morning was that Power Platform, the new option for licensing pay-as-you-go, it now allows you to manage cost through Azure Cost Management, as opposed to purchasing separate licenses in Microsoft 365. So I feel this is part of the bigger mode of the future of business applications, in the same sense that you have fusion teams with professional developers and non-developers working together. But now you can leverage all the investments you have in Azure, and the licensing is now supporting that model. How about for you?
For me, I think the takeaway was a little bit more technical in a sense. I've been looking at closely for the last year containers and Kubernetes and that very sexy technology that provides and gives us freedom of movement. The issue there has been that it's quite intimidating to take that and master that as a team. And now we are getting these container apps, this kind of Linux-based, a little bit of a more simplified model of deploying your container application with Dapper, which is might become exciting in a year or two, and it is pretty nice thing to look at and follow up. But I think I'm looking forward to a time when in a few years' time the team can decide if they want to tackle the complexity of Kubernetes and they control, or if they want to just use the capabilities of it with a more simplified approach. And I feel we are getting on that abstraction level, we are getting higher. And I hope Microsoft and other companies keep on building those capabilities. I'm very excited about that. And also, Teams is getting 800 emoji options to chat. Woohoo! Not only heart anymore.
I sort of missed that one. I need to...
That is the biggest one, right?
I need to revert my earlier answer. Yes, the 800 emojis. That's the thing that I finished.
Yeah.
But let's move forward. So today we have 3 guests, and we have Tiia Hietala from Go4, Michael Samarin from Futurize, and Pasi Kolehmainen from Siili Solutions to talk a bit about the future of work. Tiia, could you please introduce yourself?
Gladly. Thank you, Jussi, and thank you, Sakari. I've been giggling away at your jokes the whole last 15 minutes. Nice to see you all. My name is Tia Hietala and I work at Go4. My role at Go4 is to look after all our cloud partnerships, so essentially with Microsoft, AWS and Google Cloud. I also coordinate all of our cloud trainings for our clients. I meddle a little bit with our cloud marketing efforts, and last but not least, I also support our internal cloud guild. So I organize events and all sorts of cloud gatherings. So keeping busy. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Tia. Michael, please go ahead.
Good morning, good day, and good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for inviting. So my name is Michael Sammering, not to be confusing with Xammering with the Microsoft audience, so no relations. I work with Futurize for more than a decade now, and I'm responsible for our cloud and architecture offering in Finland and for our cloud competence in Finland.
Excellent. Great to have you here, Michael. Thank you. Thank you. Pasi, please go ahead.
Hello and good morning, everybody, and thanks for the invitation. I'm Pasi Kolehmainen and I work in Siili Solutions as Azure Partner Lead and Cloud Offering Owner. I have been in IT business, I think more or less 25 to 26 years, and not all that time in Siili, because Siili is not that old company. I think that's all. I have plenty of things coming on the next slides.
So we prepared a couple of questions. And first off, how has your operations, decision making, the rhythm of business changed during the pandemic? And before I let Tia pick this up on, somebody might be looking at the picture and thinking this has nothing to do with Azure or the clouds or anything else. This is actually a picture from my summer cabin.
Oh my God, the flex. Always the summer cottage flex.
Yes, but the reason is that this is one of those places where I've been working quite a bit in the past 18 months.
I've had the pleasure of visiting that place and I have to say it is a nice location.
You are welcome in the future as well.
Oh.
Alrighty, so Tia, how has operations and decision making changed for you during the pandemic?
Well, I think that it's been truly wonderful to see the trust placed in us by our customers. So naturally, customers have had to take a whole leap of faith in digitalization and get to learn to use all the remote work, communication and collaboration tools. So it's been nice to see that it's actually been far easier, that leap of faith, rather than what we perhaps expected at first. I also think that from the sort of employee satisfaction perspective, naturally, as you also discussed a lot about the loss of human connection, it was a bit hard at first. It took a while for us to find ourselves again, and we did. We started basing a lot of emphasis on our sort of communality aspect of things. So we couldn't gather up together in big groups, but we organized smaller events amongst employees, and we had all sorts of remote cooking sessions and remote beer tastings and you name it. So we did manage to sort of get over all of that. It took a little while. And people do miss the human connection. So I think that what you discussed at the beginning as to about the psychological safety and getting together, I do believe that that's also the same factor with us as well, and also with clients naturally. But clients are doing good in this sense, and I think we are also.
Excellent, thank you, Michael. Anything to add, and what are your thoughts on this?
It was interesting experience, to say at least, and a lot of learning experiences, of course, and few things that I would like to share. We were surprised that as a tool set that we have at our disposal, because we're a fairly distributed company working in Finland, Germany, and Sweden in multiple offices, that our decision-making process has been adopted quite well to this. The pandemic happened and we continue to use it as we used before. However, what we learn, and I think this is something that is what you were talking at the beginning, how different we all are and how different people are adopting very differently to the remote work situation. And this is very important, that we cannot assume that everybody is the same, and we really have to make very deliberate effort to understand the working environments and working needs of all our employees. And this is something that we've been working on very hard, and including the shipping needed extra screen and working chairs and tables all across our home offices nowadays. But another thing, what we were positively surprised, actually, that at least in Finland, how our clients already like far ahead in their journey to the digitalization. And I think that was from one hand a positive surprise, that those clients who have embraced the cloud, or at least hybrid cloud approach, and those clients who embraced the proper DevOps and proper team management and everything, how seamlessly it was possible to switch to the mode where our teams are working collaboratively remotely. And of course, some tools that we discovered, but this is something that I guess we can discuss a little bit further.
You mentioned that the furnitures and the extra displays, and it's funny, you sort of feel you're on top of technology, but when a major thing like the pandemic happens, you try to go to the store to buy a webcam and they're simply not available. Everything is sold out for 2 years.
Absolutely.
So Pasi, how about for you?
I rise up this webcam situation because I have a laptop and my webcam is broken, so I need to visit in couple of stores to find some kind of webcam. So I rise up to a little more like soft things, because as a people manager, you don't know how the people are reacting during this pandemic, and they are sitting in some place you don't even know them. So I find it has been really funny to have this kind of virtual lunch with them. So I sent invitation. Okay, let's have small talk with group, and we eat something with that, and we talk about everyday thing you are doing. What's going on, and people find that really interesting way to support them, and after that we even have this kind of surprise calls. Okay, your manager is using his phone and calling you. Okay, he's asking what's going on, what are you doing at the moment, are you doing something else that was planned, do you have some lack of computer, lack of monitor or something like that. It's making this we have made this much easier to people to, okay, I can raise my hand and say, okay, I have a problem, can you please help me? In office, yeah, it's always easier to go where your manager is sitting and asking him, but when people are placed in different locations, it's really hard. So make the barrels as lower as possible. Make encourage people to call you, ask you questions, and then yeah, I think that's the main thing that has changed during this pandemic.
That's a great insight. I hired somebody to my company in the beginning of the pandemic, and everything went well when we were on site. Then we went remote, and perhaps a week later I realized I haven't spoken to this person or chatted too much, so I called him, and he said, yeah, I've been hesitant to call you, Jussi, because I bet you're super duper busy, so I figured I will wait until your presence icon on Teams is green. And I said, it's never green, it's always red. So just interrupt me whenever you can. So sort of lowering the barriers is possibly a key finding for me as well.
I think what's funny, we've had some people join the company like all companies here has had that situation during COVID. And we had this survey where we asked for employee satisfaction in the middle of COVID actually. And the people who joined during COVID were slightly happier than people who joined before COVID. And that's okay. And that was a surprise to me. Like, okay, people complain, of course, with reason that it's hard to get to know people via screen, but still they were slightly happier. My personal take is that they were on their honeymoon period of joining a new company, and also their expectations were very rationally zero, because nothing works during COVID, so I joined this company, nothing probably works. And if something worked, they were like happily surprised. But that was weird.
It could also be that they were not exposed to your company when they were remote.
Thank you, sir. And on to the next question, very fluidly there, no escape. So, Tia, Michael, Pasi, what's the Microsoft technology stack and environment offering you? If you look at the future, if you look at the pandemic, and Azure as a cloud has grown faster than any other cloud, and there's a bunch of new features, and my God, at least in Finland, Teams is pervasive. If you look at the top 100 companies and everything, it's not Zoom in Finland, it's Teams all around, and so forth. So Microsoft technology is very visible and very used and very comfortable to many people. And at the same time, Microsoft is pushing boundaries with the stuff we saw yesterday in keynote, all kinds of virtual reality, augmented reality presence situations, like, if you are uncomfortable with your hair day, you can join a Teams meeting with your avatar, for example, a thing I might start using, and so forth. So what areas are you as a company or as a person looking forward to? Where do you want to focus your next efforts? We are keen to hear those. Tia, please.
Thank you. Well, you mentioned obviously Microsoft Teams that has massively changed our ways of working, and it's become our main collaborative tool in the whole company. And I had to cheat a little bit on this, and I had a discussion with our techie people as to what they see being used in projects. And they said that Azure App Service and web apps for containers seem to be a trend in projects right now. And also in general, services built without the direct use of virtual machines, but just with different PaaS and SaaS services from Azure seems to be a hot topic as well. Obviously, we naturally see that this is also a phase of cloud platforms getting more familiar to our clients as well. And Kubernetes, you discussed extensively at the beginning about Kubernetes, Sakari, and that's also something that we also see to be a massive platform, and people really like using that all throughout the company in different roles, just not obviously with people working with cloud. And with regards to Azure Kubernetes service, as I'm coordinating a lot of the client trainings, we've been training our clients a lot on that. So it's quite interesting that something as techy and as quite a heavily deep dive into container technology can actually be something that clients would also be interested in. So I would say that those are the things that us as a company are sort of enjoying using and looking forward to being developed as well.
What a lovely and concise answer. I really like the from a technical viewpoint. One might argue that looking at platform as a service, looking at AKS and Kubernetes, that's more on the lower end of platform as a service, while web apps and app containers and now Azure container apps that came out in Ignite, and these things are more native to the cloud in the sense that they are higher on the abstraction level of platform as a service. And you as a company, and when you interviewed your people, you are keen to experience both of these different approaches, of course, which have their different fields and answers. So that was a very interesting answer. Thank you, Tia. Michael,
you.
Thank you. Michael,
Yes.
What's happening at Futurize?
What's happening at Futurize? Well, the interesting observation, being a consultancy, working with multiple clients, is something that of a realization that in the modern enterprise, we always have to work with the multi-vendor environment in terms of who are supplying technologies. So in many companies, we have to work simultaneously with the Azure and AWS and Google Cloud, and also the collaboration platforms. We cannot, explicitly say that that particular collaboration platform is the way to go, because we are working in the hybrid mixed teams with the different collaboration platforms. That's why it's a little bit difficult to answer. However, one thing very specific to Microsoft nowadays is a GitHub, because we can call that GitHub is a Microsoft provided service, and this is something that we've more and more realized, and we see that how crucial GitHub to the day-to-day operations of the modern IT company, which is providing development services, which is providing design services. And this is something that is the most crucial component right now. And those moments during the pandemic when GitHub was down for a few hours, those are actually the most serious problems, comparing if, for example, Teams are down or other collaborative platforms like Google Meet is down or something else. And this is something that also shows that how far ahead in the digitalization some of our clients, because we are talking about like a proper DevOps practices, and GitHub becoming this technology collaborative platform, which I think I would like to highlight for the answer.
That was amazing, and developer velocity and our capability of collaborate as creators is meaningful indeed, and that was a good answer.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind me digging a little bit, I know you are a techie. What do you think? What is the future of low-code platforms? We see platforms like OutSystems, which is not by Microsoft. We see Power Platform, and that's being played hugely and buffed up by Microsoft for some time now. How do you see the future of low-code development, citizen development, and those kind of platforms? Do you have a take on that?
Yes, absolutely. This is very important because as many times Microsoft is drawing this pyramid where at the top there is no code or low code platforms, and at the bottom there is a code heavy approach. And this is something that I think is crucially important to keep it this way. Do not move only to the top of the pyramid or to the bottom of the pyramid. We've seen multiple times when, for example, low-code platforms, whether those are provided by Microsoft or other companies, when they are taken into the use, and of course the first step was the prototyping, or hey, look, I can do this and I can channel and chain together my business processes, how awesome is that, up to the moment where you actually have to do some kind of form of automated deployment. And those approaches where with the low code or no code platforms, whenever those actually support the secondary interfaces where the automation of those can go all the way down to the Terraform scripts or something like that, that's the golden. It means that we can join these two worlds, super heavy, low level technology focused, code focused, and the business processes. And whenever we see those Microsoft, some parts of the Power Platform that can be automated this way, this is something that I believe is the way to go. As we even have our a new company in this area called MeltLake by Futurize, and this is something that I believe have the future. So remember, the pyramid, top level no code, bottom level code approach, and when it works together, that's the way to go.
Excellent, great insight on the positioning of low code and no code, which is I think is discussed in many enterprises and companies currently. Thank you, Michael. Pasi, please tell us, what is Siili looking at when thinking of Microsoft Stack right now? What's the future? Pasi is on mute.
Now you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. The classic. We need to have one classic. Thank you, Pasi, for giving us this.
No problem. I rise up these frameworks. I rise up this cloud adoption framework, well architect framework, and data adoption framework, because in many customers that we are working with they have some kind of best practices. They have done something with that area, and these frameworks are bringing really value programs, tools, and best practices. How we can, when one can make a customer's environment more secure and cost effective, and without that you can put some application there. Okay, it might run quite well, but you are always missing the security there. How it's acting. I don't like to see that some of our customers you can read it from the Helsingin Sanomat. Okay, there was some security misconfiguration and that was done by somebody from our company. So focusing on those basic things and use automation as well as make our infrastructure as much as possible running as a code. So and bringing those best practices, security, and things like that to customers in upcoming months, at least I hope so. Also, AI and machine learning. We are working really much with that. So I'm sure you can see some of our things in near future. And also these teams and virtual desktops, what they are offering, we are looking for those as well, and SaaS and PaaS as well. And we are DevOps company, so many things coming with these things as well.
Excellent. A widespread smorgasbord there. I think it's a timely reminder from Pasi to all of us that a well-structured cloud environment with CAF and WAF and well-architected and cloud adoption frameworks and these frameworks and tools and the governance, it's not just about the cost management and policies and naming conventions and that kind of stuff. It is also about security. So Pasi, thank you. Thank you about that. And we will move forward to the next question.
This is actually the last question as well. So thinking about how you will operate in the future, we sort of discussed this a bit with the hybrid approach, work anywhere and so on. But I talk with some people and they're sort of hoping the old normal to come back. And I'm not sure what the old normal was. For me, I accidentally had my Outlook open 2 years ago, meaning that I thought I was looking at today, but it was from 2019. And I look at my daily schedule. Oh, I need to be in that city and meet with those people and have the dinner. And I realized that's the old normal. Mm-hmm. We packed our days with meeting people and working from different places. So is it more about this going back to being more actively visiting and working from different places? Or are we now looking at the new normal, meaning that can we go back to the office in a hybrid mode, perhaps 3 days a week or every second week or something like this? Or do we have a split here? Perhaps some people remaining fully remote, some people wanting to go back to the office, and how do we sort of meld these different approaches together? So what does the future hold for you, Tia, in terms of work, and how would you envision the normal to be?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this has been a big topic, obviously, with us and with, I think, with many other companies as well. We conducted a survey for our employees to ask how they would like to work in the future. We identified 4 different personas, as in anything from office nest builder to nomad remote worker. And the results of the survey was that 65% of Goforians want to continue working mostly remote. Interesting fact, though, this was a city-specific response because we have obviously offices in multiple cities in Finland. So in Tampere, people want to be working mostly remote. However, in Helsinki, it was less people. So in Helsinki, there was more of a need to have a community and an office to visit. But in any case, the fact of the matter is that this brings up a whole new set of different needs. Needs for tools and different benefits, and I think Michael also touched upon that earlier. On people will need remote workstations, perhaps some co-working space will be enough for some. And now we'll be able to hire people who maybe live in Oulu, where we do not have an office in, as they will be perfectly happily to just be working from home. But then we also need to cater for those who need the office and the communality aspect of that. So I think that's interesting. And I also thought about this from the perspective of common practices as how we do our work. So naturally, some of the actual work won't actually change much because many of the common practices we already do that are suited for hybrid work. Pasi mentioned that as well, and Michael also, but all these agile team collaboration, infra as code, DevOps, DevSecOps, all of these are already suited in a way that they can be done anywhere in the world, almost at any time of the day. So I think this is important to remember that, yes, we have identified a set of new needs and different types of ways of working. But I think it's also important to remember that also many people do miss the human connection. I think that's also, we need to be able to offer that as well.
Thank you. Michael, quick thoughts. How would you add to this?
Yes, I think it's clear that we are now in a permanent hybrid mode. So this is very clear, and the same as with Go for a significant percentage of our people would like to continue to work in some form of the remote work or the hybrid work. And of course, those of us who have to usually commute, those are the ones as well who are realizing how much time they are saving in a day, and also how more conveniently you can plan your day if you are planning in advance those days when you are in the office, those days when you concentrate on work from home. At the same time, two quick other notes that it's important for all of our meetings to assume that at least somebody is going to be remote. So this is our permanent mode now. So we are not guessing, but we assume somebody is going to be remote. It means that setup has to be the same way. And also importance to teach our employees, and especially young employees, that how it is very important to manage your day and unplug when you are remote. And also something that we keep repeating for many, many years, that professional burnout, it's not a slope, it's a cliff, and you don't know unless you are already in the free fall. And that's why keeping this continuous communication with employees and guiding them and providing them help whenever they are, whether they are from the office or remote, how to conduct those work practices. This is very important.
Thank you, Michael. And Pasi, last thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think other attendees say almost everything, that I think these companies are not so different from each other. Only thing that I like to rise up is that 888 rule. It's really important, and if you don't know what this 888 means, it means that you work 8 hours, you have some hobby time 8 hours, and most important thing is you have to sleep, because everybody is forgetting that we still need to sleep. I think, yeah, I'm really fast because we have only 1 minute left.
Thank you. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Super glad you joined us. And thank you, Sakke, for being here.
Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure to talk with you all. We dearly hope with Jussi that we can see you live as soon as possible. And thank you, Jussi. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Please don't
everyone.
hesitate. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if you have any future questions, and enjoy Ignite. Thanks.
Enjoy Ignite.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.